she has one of these like ridiculous fitness videos,
Right.
and she knows about as much about fitness as I know about rocket science.
Right.
And she's up there doing her thing, and Leno's bored, and I'm bored. And so at the end of the show, I grabbed her fitness video off Jay's desk and start smashing it into the corner of his desk while I make it do little aerobic moves. But he's got to do the last thing where he holds up to the camera and, like, get her video.
Right.
And he grabs it. He was very cool to me, and I was always very cool to him. He's a very friendly guy. I'm sure you've met him a bunch of times.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
He's cool?
Yeah, so, but they've never invited you back on. I would think after something like that, you know, they invite a guy on who's kind of wild, and then when you get wild, they get scared of you.
I think maybe Jay's people want someone who kind of is a little calmer and kind of toes the line, because all the other guests, they are really tame and polite. I mean, I met some nice people. Like Brooke Shields was really cool to me.
Really?
Yeah, she was real friendly, man. I didn't know what she'd be like. And she
Bright
was really
girl?
Cool. Yeah, she was really cool, and she has a good handshake, and she didn't condescend to me at all. She was really straight up.
She was sweet.
this on camera that you smashed the video?
Oh yeah,
Of course,
I hope the camera was catching it.
You're not going to waste that bit off camera.
Oh yeah, and then Simple Minds were playing that day. And I went up to the front of the stage knowing that all the cameras are on the band, and I screamed into the crowd, "This expletive deleted is weak," and everyone went, "Yeah!"
Right.
And
you are critical of other bands. There's no sort of like, hey, I'm not going to criticize a band because I'm in the music industry. You have like I am irritated. I read that you said you were irritated by Bono from U2.
irritated.
Yeah.
I would like to see his life shortened.
Right. I find him irritating too, but I'm not sure exactly why.
Because he's okay. In his band, he has the weakest rhythm section ever known in a multi-platinum band. The drummer can't drum, the bass player can't play, the guitar player has one riff.
Right.
The singer is this utter buffoon who should be in a bar,
swaggering,
just crooning. And the new album, That Which You Leave Behind, is the most tired, adult-oriented crap I've ever heard since the last Sting record. And is utterly pap.
Right.
And when you have to write a song like When I Look at the World, it says, "Hello, I have nothing left to say."
So do you despise a guy like that more than, let's say, like an NSYNC or Britney Spears? At least they're up front with what they are.
I got no problem with Britney Spears or NSYNC, really, just because that kind of stuff has always been around, and they're not calling it anything more than just some fun. That's why I didn't mind the Spice Girls. They're just fun.
Right.
But Bono thinks he's changing the world with his music.
He thinks he's Bob Dylan.
Yeah. And
you don't like Sting either?
I just think, I like, one time, we used to have a guy at my book company who loved your show, and every morning I come in the office, he's got you guys going.
Right.
And you had Sting and his moron wife on.
And you trying to save the rainforest.
And you kept triggering that one soundbite of her when she stupidly opened her mouth at the fashion dude's funeral and said, "Some people say fashion can change the world. Well, they're wrong." And you just kept playing it over and over again because it shows her out for the utterly pompous idiot that she is.
Right.
And I said, "Right on, Howard. I kind of liked you for a minute there." And
it happens once in a while.
Well, you're growing on me.
Yeah, once in a while I can be okay.
Yeah, and you were good, man. And those two are just, too much money and not enough Day of the Jackal, them in the crosshairs and the bullet finding the mark for me.
Right. In other words, you've always been raw and honest about everything. I mean, to the point even when you're feeling violent, rather than keep that a secret, you're open about it. You've talked about you want to kill people, you want to skin them alive, you want to...
Well, I'm always upfront with my emotions. I try and be an emotionally open person for a male in his 40s.
But Henry, couldn't some people be enjoying life, and life looks that way to them?
Well, I'm enjoying life, too.
In his own way, he is.
I'm just saying, can't you have a little room for the guy who's a little peppy and it's a beautiful day?
I get angry about people, though, too. It's very, people say I'm too negative, but some people irritate the crap out of me.
Well, good.
I mean, what am I supposed to do about that?
I don't think you should hold back.
Right.
See, I think if you hold back, you get cancer.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
It remains to be seen.
Right. Okay. Now, I wasn't kidding around when I said that you had a tough childhood. You were sexually abused, right? Or do I have that wrong?
I had some interesting experiences with some of my mother's boyfriends. They were little. They kind of were beyond the pale, but it didn't.
Isn't it great when your mom decides to get a boyfriend and he comes home and he's more interested in you?
I mean, they weren't the nicest guys, but it's not one of those things where it made me seek out a life of drug addiction and cutting my body up and wanting to hang myself.
You never got that?
No, it never made me go there. I just know by like 9th grade, I was like, okay, parents are cool, and
Right.
I'll just, when I'm 18, I get to leave, and I just kind of did my time, and I hit the adult world, and I split.
But how old were you when the last time?
Oh, I was a little kid, and, I never really told anybody about it.
Yeah.
But, in the books I write, it would slip out. I would get called on, and I'd answer the question.
We were kidding around before about what you said last night at your 3-hour show. But
it went a little long.
It went a little long.
Now, do you just sort of riff up there, and as long as you're feeling it, you stay?
Precisely.
You just talk off the cuff. And no prepared notes, nothing.
No, but I definitely, like on this tour, I definitely have a map in my head where I want to go. And I'm just up there jamming.
Isn't it a lot more difficult than singing than to just get up there and just start speaking your mind?
It's like pure uphill. I love it, but it's a total drain. It's so hard.
So you had an audience full of people, evidently a full house. People just sat there and listened for 3 hours while you gave your view of the world.
Yeah.
And when you were giving
people sitting when you do yours, so people are digging it. So yeah,
I think it's harder to look at their faces though, because if you see somebody drifting off and stuff, it makes you lose confidence in what you're saying. But you don't care. You just go ahead and say whatever's on your mind.
Well, no. Sometimes, the other night I was doing a show, sold out show. Everyone was cool, and there's one guy. Everyone around's laughing, having a good time. There's one guy,
right,
arms crossed, staring at me the whole time, like, oh man, he distracted me.
Yeah.
Totally threw me out.
And you couldn't go on, or you just...
No, I was fine, but I'm like, yeah, everyone is happy except for, like, the huge man in the middle of the show who, like, took up the entire gig.
See, I would think you don't even care if people like you or not.
I totally care.
You do?
Sure.
And do you start talking just to that guy?
No, but...
I do.
If you've ever done, like, a live gig where you're talking, you use people's faces as monitors.
Right.
And if you get that guy going, then you know you're doing okay. And you always see like a couple of people in your periphery, and they're laughing, you're hitting. Or, they're engaged and checking you out. But this one guy wasn't having it. And I noticed he scowled more the more his girlfriend laughed. So I kind of saw where that was going.
Why would a masculine man like yourself, a guy who obviously pumps iron and is in good physical condition...
Eats beef jerky, rides horses.
Right, but why would you take Viagra?
Me?
I would be afraid to take it.
Whoa, take it easy, Howard.
Casey said last night
Howard,
that
you said you're a little high on your caffeine.
Am I really? Does Casey have it wrong?
No. I told the audience that I was interested to see how I'm being marketed to as an adult in the world by what I was getting as spam email.
Right.
So I was getting, like, the filthiest sluts on the internet or yours, double click here. And so I didn't double click on them, and then so they eventually go away. And then weeks later, I started for like 6 weeks. I got this incredible campaign. Get Viagra discreetly online.
Right.
Like, oh no, am I in that demographic that needs help, functioning? And so I did this whole thing about, do I need Viagra? I thought that was like time for Charlton Heston.
And you see how stupid KC is. He interpreted that he said you did a bit that you took Viagra. This is what he told us.
Oh, no, I never do Viagra.
But how does he interpret this? He goes...
Casey?
Casey goes, Henry Rollins
got a son of Casey from Casey and the Sunshine Band. Maybe he's got some residual cocaine in his blood.
Maybe, because Casey said... Casey, how do you get that?
You know what? I'm sorry. I must have misunderstood, but I thought he was doing the bit like...
Did you buy some merchandise from my booth on the way out of my show?
No, I didn't.
Then why don't you take a lap around the damn block until you come to your senses?
Casey is your biggest fan, man. I mean, this guy's in love with you.
Get it right.
Well, I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
Whatever.
Casey...
He's pissed that I misunderstood.
Well, if you're going... I mean, you got it completely wrong. You said he used Viagra.
Well, he was telling a story, and I thought it came from personal experience.
And you said that he used it on his own. You didn't use it with a girl. And that you was there, standing there.
In a mirror.
You were standing in front of a mirror crying.
No, the concept is, when you're inspired, it's easy to get an erection when you're with the one you want to be with or the one you paid to be with, whatever it is that you...
Do you pay for sex?
Me? Oh, no.
You never paid for your entire life? You never gone to a prostitute?
No, that would offend me down to my very Nietzschean, Darwinian core.
You would hate to pay for it.
If you have to pay, if you cannot get some by the sheer force of your personage... then you are no longer a warrior. You are the village elder who, grinds the grain. So when the hunters come back from the field with bloody lion heads in their hands, you are there to give them their gruel.